All right, good afternoon. I'm Adrienne Van Hoosier. I am the chair of the EDA for the city of Williamsburg. I also work with Riverside, so a business here locally as well. So we're really excited to have you here this afternoon, or we are afternoon now. And thank you for taking the time to come out here. These are always a great way to connect with other businesses and get to learn about various things in the community. So also wanted to say thank you to Ted and Caleb from City of Williamsburg Town Council, as well as Sean Dunn, our Chief of Police. So please also take these opportunities to connect with the leadership in the city as well. And we will end at the very end with your giving an update as the director of EDA, and we'll start with the presentation. So I have the honor of introducing Herbert Williams. He is the Community Engagement Crime Prevention Officer for the City of Williamsburg Police Department. And he is a certified crime prevention specialist who was appointed in this role by the Williamsburg Police Department in July of 2022. He is a U.S. Army veteran, so thank you for your service, and holds an associate's degree in criminal justice and is a graduate of the 16th Leadership Institute in the Hampton Roads Criminal Justice Training Academy. In September of 2021, Officer Williams was assigned to the Community Engagement Unit, where he served as the School Resource Officer for Williamsburg James City County Public Schools. And during this assignment, he built and maintained a rapport with middle school students, parents, and staff while educating interest groups on crime prevention and other police-related subjects. Officer Williams began his law enforcement career with the Kingsville Police Department and transitioned to the Williamsburg Police Department in July of 2019. And during his first assignment as a patrol officer, he attained a general instructor and field training officer certification to better assist in fostering community relationships and partnerships and shaping the department's strategic vision through the development of fellow officers. So we're very excited to hear from him today. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. As you said, I am Herbert Williams with the Williamsburg Police Department. There's a little bit about me up there. I'll take that. Before I get started, I would like to recognize a few people in the room. Well, everyone in this room is very important. Everyone who's attending the presentation via Zoom or Ring Central is important. But I'd like to point out Chief Sean Dunn and my supervisor, Ashley Nichols. All these folks, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be in this position today. They've showed me great support in the position that I am in today, and have allowed me to, as I like to say, put the Williams in Williamsburg. I also like to give a big shout out to Dr. Herring, who is the superintendent of Williamsburg James City County Public School District. I was a school resource officer just previously before taking on this position, and it has been a great experience for me. And now because of it, I have more experience in this current position, as I can now show support, even more support to the school system and to the school resource officers that we have in our department. Also, Councilmember Ted Maslin and Caleb Rogers, thank you for being here. Thank you both for always being there to support me in all of my endeavors. Something's wrong with the So today I'm here to talk about the Business Watch program. If you're not familiar with the Business Watch program, it actually gives an opportunity for local law enforcement and businesses to work closely together to prevent crimes and solve problems in the business community. The goals of the Business Watch program is to improve communication between local businesses and local law enforcement, to educate businesses on crime prevention efforts and techniques, and to encourage businesses to actually make use of these crime prevention efforts and techniques, as this crime prevention efforts is a responsibility for everybody, okay? Let's see here, how this works. You might hear me say use the term stakeholder a bunch during this presentation, because to me it's a very, very important word in terms of crime prevention. because stakeholders, it doesn't mean for businesses, just the employees, the owners, the managers, and so on. This includes everybody who are friends and families of the members in these businesses and the community as a whole, okay? So how Business Watch program works is that business stakeholders are encouraged to identify crimes and suspicious activities, report those crimes and suspicious activities to the police, and alert other Business Watch members whenever possible. This also allows us to work closely with the neighborhood resource officers to ensure safety and security in the community, especially the business community. So how does this benefit businesses? Well, it establishes a network between local businesses. As for example, we take Merchant Square. Merchant Square does have a group, and they also have a president of Merchant Square businesses. That allowed them to give to maintain and establish and maintain a network amongst all the businesses in Merchant Square. Well, our goal here is to actually have that take place with all businesses, such as the shops on High Street, to include shops on High Street. So it also ensures a cooperative effort against criminal activity. Though some employees may not feel this to be true, but they are also responsible for these efforts. At least we would like to encourage them or hold them accountable for these efforts. It also improves crime prevention and community safety efforts, and develops a closer partnership between businesses and us, the Williamsburg Police Department. So, let's just say you want to become a part of a Business Watch group or establish one within your area. You can reach out to our neighborhood resource officers. These neighborhood resource officers are essentially patrol officers who are actually close. They are the initial contact for businesses, neighborhoods, anybody in the community. And there's each officer is assigned to one of 20 districts in the city of Williamsburg. Some of the services that the neighborhood resource officers provide is they obviously give a lot of advice. They direct community stakeholders to resources that are available to address certain concerns. These resources are offered either by the city of Williamsburg or maybe even other partnering jurisdictions as we cross jurisdiction with James City County and York County. They also coordinate community activities and events such as the National Night Out. Councilman Mazin, I'm sure you remember that. So that's just one of few. They also assist in establishing community groups such as the business and neighborhood watch groups, or any community safety committees that would like to be developed within specific communities. Other services include giving presentations on CONT'D, which is crime prevention through environmental design. This model essentially gives empowerment to businesses to create a safer environment for their businesses. What we like to do is we like to come out and raise awareness on crime prevention and some ways that we can make use of the environment to deter criminal activity. We also come out to conduct light surveys, which essentially it works like this. Even if you're on private property as a business owner, let's just say if you believe that the lighting isn't adequate enough in your area, we can come out and we can do what is called a light study. We take that data and we send it up to the city manager's office, and they pretty much take that data and confirm whether or not there is a lighting issue in the area, and then they give us notification, and from there we make recommendations in terms of how to improve that. We also conduct security assessments, which essentially is us coming out and taking a look at your business as a whole. So this is pretty much a CONT'D effort. So we'll come out and we'll say, hey, if for example, you have surveillance cameras, but they don't operate, they're just there to deter crime, we're probably going to encourage you to actually make use of those cameras. If there's any shrubbery that we believe is maybe too high, we'll probably recommend that you cut them down a little bit for natural surveillance purposes. Any signs or anything like that, anything that may give rise to crime. And lastly, we also do something that's very, very basic. After hours, we can come out to your businesses, or if your business is closed during the day, that's fine. If you want to put in a request for us to come out and do checks of your buildings, which is, essentially we just come and make sure that, windows and doors are locked. There's no, maybe if there's a down tree or something like that needs to be reported or anything like that. But we also, as neighborhood resource officers, we also address other issues, code and compliance issues, whether it be parking issues, noise complaints, soliciting, loitering, anything like that. So how do we get in contact with these neighborhood resource officers? Well, you can simply go to www.williamsburgva.gov/NRO, and it will actually take you to a webpage. Can I use this mouse here? Let's see if we can. I'm going to actually give this a shot, see if I can help y'all out here. We go to this web page here. It should take you right straight to the neighborhood resource officer web page. And if you scroll down, you'll see this map here, which shows you the map of the city, along with the 20 districts within the city of Williamsburg. You click that, it'll take you to a nice little page. It gives you a brief overview of what the neighborhood resource officer program is about, to include the police department's mission statement. If you click down here, what you'll see is an actual nice little GIS map that opens up. And as you can see, you can click on these maps just to kind of figure out which officer is assigned to each district. Okay, so let's just say you want to know which officer is yours, but you don't want to have to mess with the map there. All you have to do is you can go in the search bar here. Oops, let's do this. Okay. And you can scroll down to your address, and you'll see there's a pinpoint right here over Food Line. If you minimize the screen a little bit, you'll start to see the color code. Then all you have to do is click on the map here, and it'll tell you Officer Steve Roberts is the NRO for District 5. All right. So another little feature that we also have here on the web page is these arrows here on the side. If you want to just scroll through just to see who's actually a neighborhood resource officer in the city of Williamsburg, all you have to do is click on these arrows here, and you can see the names of each neighborhood resource officer. All right. So if we go back to the presentation there. Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
so if you live in the historic area or on campus, is it just the security for William & Mary or the historic area, or you have two layers?
So we work in partnership with the law enforcement community. So as far as William & Mary Police Department, Colonial Williamsburg. So although they have their own jurisdictions where they focus, we also share jurisdiction with them as they fall in the city of Williamsburg jurisdiction. So though yes, under certain circumstances you can contact them, we encourage you to contact us as a municipal police department.
District 12 is enormous. I was assuming that one person couldn't cover all of that.
Actually, believe it or not, I was gonna say, believe it or not,
They get a golf cart.
it actually used to be, yeah. That actually used to be my,
Oh,
yeah. No, actually, it's right here. Mine was 11, sorry. But yes, it is a lot of land. But yes, and we do work in partnership with other security and law enforcement personnel in the area. So do we have any questions about the presentation? Yes, sir.
So I'm putting cameras at my business. Can you talk about, I know there's a program where you can tie into those, but also talk about whether that's helpful to you all in overall surveillance.
You mean in terms of giving law enforcement access?
Yes, sir.
No, now, though, I can't guarantee that we're not gonna sit back and obviously monitor your cameras the whole time, but to have access to those cameras are very helpful, because a lot of times we will find ourselves in a situation where we may respond to calls and we need somebody to give us that access, which slows down the process of investigations.
And is there a particular camera that you all work with?
That we work with?
One you could tie into the rings, is that still the case or not?
I don't believe so. We don't have that kind of technology as of yet.
Yeah, we can get it from Ring with your approval, with your permission.
Okay.
But we work with all cameras. And in fact, we as our officers are on patrol, they ride around to see who, it clearly from the street that you can see has a camera, and in particular a camera that faces the street, and we keep an inventory of that. So let's just say there were an incident in the area or nearby, then we could go and just knock on the door and talk to the folks that live there with these cameras.
Right.
To make it a whole lot easier following the situation and go and try to get that camera video from them.
And to add to that, I will say that we do have a nice feature with Axon where we can actually text or email the link to business owners or anybody in the community who has access to video camera footage, and they can simply upload that footage for us, and we can categorize it, do whatever we want, because now it's in our electronic database, evidence database, which a lot of people think is cool because it's like, hey, I'm a part of this investigation now. So. Yes, sir.
So 4 years ago, I was able to bring together a business and the police department. The business was Baskin Robbins, and created Cone with a Cop, which was great. And then we pivoted during the pandemic. It was Cone from a Cop, where I was able to get coupons so that you could give out to the kids. Are there other opportunities where businesses could partner with the police department for similar programs to help the community?
Definitely. We had just previously, we had the Ambassador Village, well, it used to be the International Village House. We did the neighborhood resource officer for that area, that is Officer BP Johnson. What he did was he got with them and he set up a late night coffee with a cop. And it consisted of probably about, I want to say it was about 200 plus people who actually showed up to that all at one time. And we thought it was kind of very unique because it was like 11 o'clock at night. But it was a big hit. So yes, there's any programs that or events or activities that y'all would like to facilitate, just give us a call up. Find your neighborhood resource officer, get in contact with them. 9 times out of 10, they're going to get in contact with me. And if you want to, you can get in contact with me directly, and I'll pass it along.
We're speaking of unique partnerships. Do you mind sharing with them how you partner with the Heritage Humane and how that works?
Oh, so we do have a program, which is it's Canine with the Cop, or Canine for a Day. I'm sorry, where essentially the officers will come out to Heritage Humane Society, and we'll pick up a dog, and we'll walk with them throughout the community. This helps give that dog exposure in terms of helping it getting it adopted. So.
Well, it gives us a chance to interact with community members. We're facilitating those positive interactions. But to date, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but to date, we have a 100% adoption rate.
Wow.
So every dog we've adopted.
Believe it or not.
For the board at Heritage Humane, thank you.
No problem. Believe it or not, just previously we did have a dog that we brought out during our back to school drive, and I believe it was the next day the dog was adopted by one of our parents. Yes.
Are there things as business owners, operators, whatever, that generically we can do to make your job easier, more effective?
Oh yeah, and we will send your neighborhood resource officer out to come talk to you a little more about that, and I can come out and talk to you as well if you'd like. Just give me, I have a business card on me. I can pass that on to you, and give me a call. We can sit down and we can talk about it.
Give that to Eric Floyd, who manages our branch here.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You met Eric, so he's make sure that they're on track. How much you love false alarms.
Yes, sir.
You want to give a shout out to the drug take back Saturday coming up?
Yes, we do have a drug take back coming up this Saturday. It's going to be from 10 to 2 in front of the municipal building. So if you have any old prescription drugs that you like to dispose of, please come out and drop those off.
Folks have to get out of the car to.
Oh, no, you don't have to get out of your car either. It's pretty much a drive-in or drive-through feature that we have going on.
Is it this Saturday or the next?
It's gonna be October 29th, so it is.
29th, yes, I'm sorry,
Halloween.
October 29th, not this Saturday.
We have one question online that says, Fred Hayes asks if there's a similar site to identify the national resource officers in for businesses on the edge of Williamsburg and James City County.
The neighborhood resource officers?
You know, it's a similar site.
Well,
We need them to shift their business to the other
they can
side.
shift it over. That'd be great. But I'll tell you what, that sounds like a good opportunity. That's not the first time that I've received that question. That sounds like a good opportunity for us to maybe not offer our services as a neighborhood resource officer, but maybe a neighborhood liaison for other jurisdictions.
But if they need help contacting somebody with James City, if they could contact Herb Williams, we'll make sure we put them in contact.
And that's what that being a resource officer is all about, offering resources to citizens. Yes, ma'am.
So former city newspaper reporter, used to hang out with the cops all of the time.
Really?
The evolution of crime prevention seems to have moved, addressing a bunch of different things. Could you talk about your training in mental health first aid? And if you see anything else that, like as a community, we could be doing to help with that particular issue here in Williamsburg?
So I know, as you probably know, as law enforcement, we have evolved into more of social work. So not to say that we've gone other days of old policing. We still carry those traits, but we have evolved into doing a lot of training, such as crisis intervention training for all officers. We actually have one who is actually an instructor. So we also do MIH, which is mobile integrated housing. I'm sorry, health, with other partnering businesses and entities such as the fire department and colonial behavioral health. We also partner with the CTAC teams in the area. So does that answer your question?
Well, let's just pretend I don't know what those acronyms are.
Oh, CTAC. So it's CTAC is essentially a dedicated crisis intervention officer that's dedicated for Riverside Doctors Hospital. Colonial Behavioral Health, their facility for those with health ills. I can't really brief too much on that one because obviously I'm not a part of that entity, but they're dedicated to behavioral health and individuals.
So Herb, so talk to us a little bit about how it works. Officer gets a CIT training, it's 40 hours.
Right. We do get 40-hour training with numerous groups that mental health professionals. Even in the schools, we also work closely with the mental health professionals there. We're given this 40-hour training, and with that training, what we make use of it, we actually make use of that training for when we go out. And let's just say if we're dealing with some criminal activity, we arrive and come to find out maybe this individual that we're dealing with has mental health issues or anything like that. What we do is, if we can get them to voluntarily go with us, great. If not, what we want to do is we want to do an assessment to see if they meet criteria for what is called an emergency custody order. And from that point, we take that person in custody, transport them to the nearest facility that can offer that help. Usually it's Riverside Doctors Hospital. And they do an assessment, and then from there, they either provide a bed, or depending on what they find, they may release them. But that's pretty much the process.
But in the CIT training, you learn how, like, your body language or your tone.
Yes. So, okay. Yes, we study a lot about body language during the CIT training. When it comes to communicating with somebody who we believe have mental health issues. We do a lot of listening. We let them speak on what it is they want to speak on, and when they're talking to us, we use certain things to determine whether or not this person needs to seek medical attention, whether it's something that's immediate or whether it's something that is that they're going to need to that they can take their time and, hey, you might want to make a phone call, get a family member or somebody to take you to get evaluated. I really like the CIT program. It can be, the training can be a bit intense because we do have really good instructors. But that essentially is what it is. By body language and listening to what these individuals are saying, that helps us determine whether or not this is something that we need to make an arrest, or if this is something where we need to help them seek medical attention. Yes, sir.
So talking about community outreach, another dimension we have, you might want to talk about is the Police Chiefs Advisory Committee.
Yeah. Please do. How about this? I think pass that on.
Yeah, thanks, Ted. Great point. Yeah, so, you know, as you might imagine, since the situation with George Floyd, unfortunately in Minneapolis, a lot of spotlight, if you will, has been on law enforcement and how we can do things better. Williamsburg, for many years now, we've considered ourselves a reform-minded agency, and so a lot of the things that the national call for, we were already doing, and we were already what we would describe as a best practice in. But we certainly kind of felt like having a citizen advisory committee, a group out there of citizens that's formally helping us be the best police department that we could be, would be a good thing. And so we have put forth a civilian advisory committee comprised of 5 citizens. Of those 5 citizens, we reserved a position for the NAACP, for our faith community, for our William and Mary student population, and then for 2 other folks, just, you know, so that we would have somewhat of a diverse population, if you will, serving on that in that role. And it's been incredibly effective. I mean, we've been at it not quite a year yet. It seems like going on a year, but it really has been fantastic. Created a wonderful partnership for us. And again, we as an agency, I think, have been real open and transparent, and we've welcomed feedback for years. But this gives us a formal process to ensure that community members now can formalize that impact that we get from them. So thank you for bringing that up.
Any other questions?
Or in the program you were just talking about, the CAC, are the respondents typically uniformed and armed, or are they paired with a uniformed
You're
officer?
talking about the CIT?
Right.
Crisis, okay. So crisis intervention officers are typically, but that's not to say that they can't be, it's not to say that they're only for law enforcement officers. We have, in fact, we have the Colonial Williamsburg Public Safety. They work hard to have CIT as well as certain civilians. So yes, CIT is a training that is open to anybody who works within the mental health and law enforcement community.
You have sponsorships for your golf tournament available for businesses?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I guess I can go ahead and remind y'all, we do have a golf tournament coming up. It's going to be the Williamsburg, the WPD NAACP Golf Classic. It's going to be held November 12th from 7:30 to 2 o'clock. And we are taking sponsorships. If you'd like to know more about that, y'all can contact me directly.
All of the proceeds from that go to the NAACP to support their youth fund, and I'm drawing a blank on exactly what it's called.
It's the Youth Council, the NAACP Youth Council. So it goes for any scholarships, activities, or events that they have going on or would like to have going on. All the proceeds do go to that charitable.
Yeah, 100% of the proceeds go to that.
Ma'am.
Have you seen, back to the transition program or crime intervention program rather, have you seen a drop in like people going to jail for something that maybe now we focus
As a result of the changes?
as a result of this mindset change?
Well, let me chime in. So I've been doing this for 29 years now, and I'm telling on my age a little bit, but yeah, and so I would say from my perspective, yeah, I mean, probably a tremendous shift, right? I think 29 years ago, your only option was jail, in those instances. And today, we have, if it is a crisis situation, obviously, there's probably a hospital bed that we're able to take them to with someone other than a uniformed police officer tending to them until decisions are made about what facility maybe they need to go to. But in Williamsburg, we also have another system, which I like to think of as a safety net. And that's this MIH that you've heard, Mobile Integrated Health, where we come together with our partners, and I think it's once a month we meet. Yes. And we talk about those types of folks that maybe they weren't that crisis or that emergency situation. Maybe it's a situation where they're a hoarder, or maybe it's a situation that we've gone to a few times. This person just doesn't have anyone and they're super lonely. And maybe we want to try to figure out some services working with our human services and our fire personnel and us and whatever other agencies we might want to bring to the table to try to help and find what I call, like, say, a little bit of a safety net for those types of folks. And otherwise, we know if maybe we can get them some help, their quality of life increases. And if we don't get them some help, maybe it deteriorates to the point that now maybe they are in that crisis mode. And we want to try to avoid that, of course, whenever we can. But great questions.
Thank you.
One last really quick thing, to think about from the city council point of view as well as city. I heard an article about one of the cities, and I can't remember, I think they're in Colorado or something, or Arizona, where they stopped doing the most close parking lot. We had a lot of street parking like we do in Williamsburg, and they didn't have, and I know everyone's going to be sad because we have lack of parking as well. But the parking places that were the closest to the intersections, they stopped letting those be there, basically. And their amount of pedestrian being hit and so forth, car crashes dropped tremendously from that parking lot place not having a car in it. I know when I drive through the city and I've got a tall car, there's a couple places I literally had a fire truck go by me and I didn't see them from all the blind spots in my car and a car parked right there. And I thought, this is really perfect for, anyway, I just thought it seemed like a really smart idea, and they actually did have the stats that said that dropped a whole lot of crashes and things from happening. So
Interesting perspective. Parking is an ongoing conversation in the city of Williamsburg.
yeah, I know, and I do appreciate the fact that anyone would kill me for even saying that out loud.
Really, parking?
Yeah, go figure.
Thank you, Herb. That was a very insightful presentation. I think we learned a lot from a business perspective of ways that we can partner with the neighborhood resource officers, looking at the various light surveys, security assessments, after hours checks. Those are all great things. I know, speaking on behalf of Riverside, we've worked very closely with the City of Williamsburg Police Department to really look at our on-campus security, their access to our building if we were ever to be in a really difficult situation. And we are the assessment center for the crisis intervention team. So we have a really great partnership, so appreciate that. So I'm going to hand it over to Yuri, who's the Director of the Economic Development Authority for City of Williamsburg, to give our EDA Minute.
Hey everyone, just wanted to give a quick reminder about our e-commerce grant program. So if you don't know, our EDA has a suite of grant programs that are available to any business in the city of Williamsburg with an active business license. The specific program can cover up to $1,500 at a 50% matching rate for website design, creation, search engine optimization, anything that's going to give your business a better presence online. If you're using an in-state provider, it is a 50% matching grant up to $1,500. If you're using an out-of-state provider, it becomes a 25% matching grant up to $1,500. If you have any questions, you're welcome to reach out to me directly, email, call. I'm always available. Details about that are at yeswilliamsburg.com/e-commerce. And if there are no other questions, I believe we are done.
Presentation.
Great.